Welcome to Trail Mix, a fresh blend of what's happening at Rowan-Cabarrus Community College and in the world of higher education. It's everything you need to keep you informed, inspired, and as always, navigating forward. Welcome to this episode of Trail Mix. I'm your host, Carter Wingfield, and today we have a very special individual who will be making her podcasting debut as a co-host, Tabitha Harry. She goes by Tabs, fun fact, that's with an S on the end, and she is my coworker. We work together in marketing communications department, and welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Carter. I'm very excited to be here today and to be in the podcast. You know, I've done a lot of the behind the scenes work, but now I get to actually become a voice on here. So I'm excited for that.
Yeah, absolutely. You've been crushing the notes and the research that goes into every single podcast. So she is not technically new to the podcast, but new to the mic. So we're very excited to have you.
Thank you. I'm very excited to get to jump in and be a part of it in a different way. Glad to talk about Rowan-Cabarrus, though, because I know a lot of information about Rowan-Cabarrus as a previous student, and now I'm an employee here. So I have a great view of both sides.
Yeah, you're the communication specialist at the college.
Yes.
So yes, you get a lot of information that comes your way.
I know a lot of history.
Yeah.
A lot of history I know about this place.
Awesome. Well, welcome. Thanks for co-hosting. Takes a lot of the pressure off of me, I'll be honest. I'm very excited to have you. So we also have two special guests with us that are here to talk all things QEP. What's a QEP? Quality Enhancement Plan. What is a Quality Enhancement Plan? Well, we are going to get into that today. So I have Deanna Dixon and Dr. Jenny Billings. Thank you guys both for being here today.
Thank you so much for having us. We're excited to be here. I am Dr. Jenny Billings. I am over the ACA department, the English department, and most recently the Associate in Arts program. So thank you so much for having us.
Hi, thank you for having me as well. My name is Deanna Dixon. I am the ACA 122 lead faculty as well as the QEP director. So I'm excited to talk about the QEP today.
Yeah, two pros. Nice.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's just jump right in. Let's start with kind of defining what a quality enhancement plan is. What does it mean to the college? Why is it important? Things like that. And then we can dig into the details a little bit.
Sure. That sounds great. So the Quality Enhancement Plan, or we call it the QEP, is an important part of our SAC-COC accreditation process, which basically just means our college meets important standards for quality in areas like teaching and student support. It ensures that your education is recognized and that your degree holds value. So the QEP is like a focused project within that aims to improve student learning and success in a specific way. So think of it as the school picking one big area to invest in and improve over the next few years based on what we believe students need most.
Okay. Yeah.
So official.
Yeah. All right. So with you as director, like what does that look like for your part?
So I've essentially been sort of leading the charge in getting everyone's input and feedback, doing research on literature and best practices, kind of digging into what we feel like could help our students be most successful here at Rowan-Cabarrus, and then putting together a plan where we can achieve that success. So that's where we came up with Forward Together. So you want to hear more about that?
Yeah, Forward Together what is Forward Together?
Yeah. So Forward Together is the title and theme of our QEP, and it really speaks to how we can all work together at the college to make sure that students have the support they need from day one when they step foot on campus, because we know college can be really confusing and overwhelming. And so we believe that Forward Together is going to ensure that students have all of the skills and the tools and resources they need to be successful here at Rowan-Cabarrus, as well as when they leave us.
Perfect. So how do you take that theme of Forward Together and that idea, and how do you put it into practical steps for students, staff, faculty? Can you break out kind of what the components of the theme are a little bit more?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think it's really trying to get everybody, kind of excited about this initiative and making sure that students have what they need from day one. That has been something that we have encouraged for over 10 years with things like the eText initiative and digital products that we use that are available to students on day one here in Blackboard. But we haven't really focused on all of these different skill sets and all of these different resources on day one, just mostly a focus on textbooks. So this expanded that, but it included the whole college and all of our partners. So this is introducing students to advising and to the wellness center and to things and events on campus really early on, and also encourages students to take this class earlier than they have before because it is so important and because it is doing these things. It has encouraged Deanna and I to kind of branch out of our own division and kind of out from ourselves and include more people in the conversation and more people in the success of students, which is really why we're all here. And similar to the way Dr. Spalding said, you go further together. That's really kind of the promise here, is that if we all band together for student success, we will go further as an institution, but we'll get to watch our students go further too.
Perfect. I want to talk about kind of the pathways a little bit. I don't want you to get into too much detail because we'll talk about it later, but I want you to reference the pathways.
Yeah.
All right. So for the QEP, we decided on a theme of pathways to success because we were really considering how so many students take different pathways, but they all experience the same end goal, or they're all searching for the same end goal, which is obviously to graduate and either transfer or go out into the workforce. So we were asking ourselves, like, what are these different pathways and how can we ensure that students have the sort of tools, the knowledge, the resources, and the support to make sure that they can reach that end goal whichever way they need to get there.
Yeah, nice. How are y'all getting this information into students' hands? What's the delivery vehicle?
So we actually just rebranded our ACA 122 course. This is a course that we've had at the college, for many, many years. When I first became chair in 2011, we were currently on a 1997 version of ACA 122, if y'all can believe that.
Been a minute.
Yes, it has been a minute. And basically that focus was really about study skills and, how students can learn better, what their learning practices are, just college prep, things like that. Then in 2021, it was rebranded under the North Carolina Universal Transfer. And it became a UGETC course, which just basically means that it's gen ed and it transfers to all schools. And so when we rebranded that, it was more of a college transfer focus. So yes, it still gave them the resources and the tools that they needed to be successful at Rowan-Cabarrus, but also, looking ahead at where they might transfer, why they might transfer there, the courses that they should take. But it was really a transfer focused class. Well, with this latest rebranding, we needed to do a lot of things in this class. So we needed to make sure that we kept some of the history in it where they still do, the study skills and the test taking skills and note taking and things like that. But they also needed to learn how to be a Rowan-Cabarrus student specifically. They needed to know how to research their transfer university, or if they weren't planning to transfer, how they could get the skills that they needed in order to go directly into the workforce. So this course is doing a lot of things. And then on top of that, it's the delivery vehicle for the quality enhancement plan. So it was a large undertaking that Deanna and I handled this summer. It was a lot of fun, but it was a lot of work. And we have really enjoyed seeing it in front of the students these past couple of weeks.
So when I was a student, I took one of the previous versions back in 2023. Mm-hmm. So I was already a student for about a year when I decided to take the course. Mm-hmm. And I remember taking it and I was like, this was a class that I should have met with my advisor and mapped out my plan originally. Absolutely. So that I could have taken it earlier.
Yes.
Because it taught me like how to navigate the website and things like that.
That's right.
I didn't even know. And I was like, wow, I should have taken that earlier. So I highly recommend, if you're a student listening, take this class early. Is very helpful when you're starting here.
Yes.
I remember it taught me about, the different paths that I could take. It forced me to really dig for my options myself to decide what I wanted to do so that I knew transfer was going to be the best path for me and to look at where I was going to end up transferring at.
Well, I love that you said that. In the past with the different versions, there was research years ago that they needed to take it after their first 30 hours because they kind of needed to establish themselves as a student first before knowing where they would want to transfer. Well, we since then have completely changed that research on its head. No, you actually need to take it much sooner than that because this information and this knowledge can help you understand what to do at Rowan-Cabarrus first and then, where to go. And so there's been research and a lot of conversation back and forth when the right time is to take this class. But we at Rowan-Cabarrus believe that the time is now. Take it as soon as possible.
Sooner the better.
As soon as possible. If you can't fit it in your first semester, please within your first year. But we promise it'll be worthwhile, and you won't be kicking yourself for taking it too late when it's no longer applicable or when you already know where you're transferring. Now's the time.
I love that, like, a lot of people probably think that, these are just decisions that we make just because, but they don't realize there's, like, so much thought and, like, study and research that actually goes into these things. It's not like, all right, this is what we want to do and this is how we're going to do it. There's reasoning and why.
Yes, and Deanna has a 98-page report proving that. That's right, yeah.
Yeah, and the research absolutely backs this up. But I think most importantly, our students are telling us that this is what they need. We read student feedback on the previous course version, as well as what they wanted to see this QEP cover. We read faculty feedback and we sort of took it all together. We're like, okay, this is what we know our students and our faculty and our staff want to see in this QEP.
I love that you guys, like, you listen. It's not, you're asking the questions and not going to pay attention. Like, you actually listen and keep that into your thought process when you think about these things.
And we will continue to listen. Like, we're asking our students now, what do you need? What does this not cover? What can we add to it? So it'll be an evolution. That's what a QEP is all about. It's a 5-year plan. So we'll continue to improve as we go through until we get to that final product.
Absolutely. Yeah. We have a running doc of where we're headed in the next 5 years.
Our brains are always running.
Always on.
Yes. What can we do better? What can we improve?
Absolutely.
What do our students need?
Yes. No more decades between designing this class.
No semesters. Maybe even we've already pushed through. One of the cool things about the products we're using, we're able to edit our publisher content, but we wrote most of it. Yeah. And so we're able to edit it immediately and immediately push it out to all the sections and all the students. And that's not something we've had before. And that was so important because as we get things like this podcast and resources that are available to students, we want them to know immediately, not second 8 weeks, not in January, and so we've been really excited about that feature that we have.
That's awesome.
Especially it sounds like it's a very foundational course.
It is, and it's really catered to Rowan-Cabarrus. Like, you should come see. Like, we use a lot of the photos, and we hope to have student success stories. So again, students, if you want to be involved, find us. We want to feature true Rowan-Cabarrus student stories in our textbook, and it not just be generic student success stories.
Oh, I love that.
Yes, so come on. Yeah. So.
Let's dig a little bit deeper into the QEP. Y'all mentioned pathways and the pathways to success. What do you guys have the different pathways built out? What are they? What do they look like? And how do they help students build confidence on campus?
Well, I can go ahead and sort of outline the pathways, and then maybe Dr. Billings wants to jump in and add a few more details. So we have pathway to succeed. That's first off. Then we have our pathway to understand. Then we have our pathway to belong, our pathway to learn, our pathway to transfer, and our pathway to the future.
And it's just like Deanna said earlier, that was based on a lot of the feedback that we received, what all information needed to be in this course. Now, mind you, we are having to include course outcomes that are at the North Carolina level. So we're making sure that the course is doing what it needs to do from a catalog and a curriculum standpoint. And then we also were making sure that we covered all of the feedback that we gathered and the research that Deanna found. So in Pathway to Succeed, this is setting up students for success at Rowan-Cabarrus. So it's technology specific. So it teaches them about Blackboard, email, Grammarly that we just recently got a hold of institutionally. It teaches about netiquette and how to reach out to instructors and, faculty and staff here at the campus and college. And then Pathway to Understand helps students understand the resources that are available to them and how if they tap into those, they'll be more successful. So for example, they're encouraged to meet with an advisor or a liaison or a faculty mentor in that pathway. Pathway to Belong is based in the understanding that if you find a place that feels like home, you're more likely to stay there. And so we encourage students to find their place here. So we encourage them to go to events, check the calendars for all of the things happening on campus or virtually, but just really making them feel like they do belong here because they do. And we have something for everyone here. And we firmly believe that. The pathway to learn is really similar to the previous course. So this is talking about test taking and note taking and strategies for success. It talks about tutoring and a lot of the free resources that we have to make sure students are successful academically. And then it goes into the pathway to transfer, which kind of kicks up the last course a notch because it's truly North Carolina specific resources. There have been a lot of rebrandings of websites here in North Carolina that are included. There's a lot more resources available. We have a lot of articulation agreements and different ways that our students can better transfer to universities here in North Carolina. We also have a transfer center that they're encouraged to, look at and read more about on the website. So that's a really great resource. And then finally, the sixth module is the pathway to their future or to their career. This is where they learn more about North Carolina careers. They do resume work. There are career quizzes to help them kind of understand, what their characteristics and attributes would kind of align them with work-wise. So we think that it's a really great holistic approach to success in general. And these pathways mimic how they come to us and hopefully how all students can be successful on at least one of these paths.
I just want to say, all of that was by memory. You guys, when you're doing this, you're not reading anything. And that's really impressive that you know it so well that you can talk that confidently about it by memory. That's really impressive to me.
Y'all live and breathe QEP.
Really?
We lived it in all of August. So August was QEP month for sure. So now it's having fun with it. But August was a lot of building. And I can't thank Deanna enough for everything she's done and will continue to do. So
yeah.
Well, and it's been fun for me, too, because now I get to teach it. So as lead ACA 122 faculty, I'm in the classroom, boots on the ground. So these last 3 weeks now.
3 weeks. Where's it going?
I've gotten to dig into some of those pathways. So Pathway to Succeed, I've walked students over to the library to help them get on the printer. I introduced them to librarians. I made sure that they knew how to get on the Wi-Fi. I showed them how to submit an assignment in Blackboard. So I'm seeing happen right in front of my eyes. So it's really kind of exciting.
Yeah, it sounds like there's a whole lot of practical application built into these ideas and these different pathways where no matter what your learning style, you feel like you can grasp some of these ideas and get prepared.
Yeah.
So I know you talked about the different pathways and things like that. And I know you mentioned technology and studying. So what kind of skills are the students learning in this? How do the pathways translate to what you actually teach in there?
I would say that we are just kind of making sure that the students know how to be a college student. So even if that just means how to submit an assignment in Blackboard, how to contact their instructors, send an email to get a response, how to engage with instructor feedback so that they can make improvements. We focus on those skills eventually as we get into the semester on how to take notes, how to study, how to prepare for your tests, how to be academically successful. And then when we feel like hopefully we've given them the actual sort of skills and tools that they need, we then start asking them to think about the next steps. What's next? And then they actually leave the class with transfer guides in hand if they are planning to transfer so that they know what classes they need to take in order to not waste any time or any money taking classes that aren't necessary. And then also they have a plan when they leave about their career. They've done research. They know what careers are available here in North Carolina. They know what the salaries are. They know what education they need to get that career. And then they have a plan for how to achieve that. So I think it kind of starts them from day one where they're really unsure about some of the basics to then actually being a really successful student in the classroom to then being set up for where they need to go in the future.
I love how you mentioned how personalized it is. It's them actually getting to decide what they want to look into, and it's them making their choices for themselves that they want. Because I know especially for me, when it comes to decision making, that's always hard for me. And so if I'm in a class where it's, this is part of the work I have to do, then it makes it easier for me because I have a reason, okay, this is why I'm doing it. And then it's just, I don't know, I really like this class. It's really I just love how personalized it is and how you guys have all made it personalized for the students.
Yeah. And then also in thinking about the next steps for the students and for the QEP, we are actually looking ahead to how we can make sure that students have all of these tools and resources and knowledge going forward after they leave ACA 122. So one of our next steps in this process is going to be to create a course in our LMS where the students can actually have access to all of the same material, including their textbook, for the entire time they are here at Rowan-Cabarrus. So they leave the class, they have questions. Oh, I know they talked about this and that class and it was so great. Well, now they're going to have a place where they can go to actually access those materials and get those questions answered. So we're really excited about that, and that'll be like coming soon.
Ooh, yes. A little sneak peek.
Absolutely.
Yeah, nice. Well, tell me, how does Forward Together support student belonging and engagement? Why is it important for college success?
So there's a lot of research that if you feel like you don't belong, you're not likely to engage or to be as successful. And so that's something that we take very seriously and that we have felt ourselves. You need to feel, kind of grounded, and you need to find your footing, early on in order to be able to advocate for yourself, to know what resources you have, and to know who to go to for help if you need it. And that is a lesson that's so important to teach students about self-advocacy and how to solicit the help that they need and where to find it. And so this course, kind of like Tab said earlier, like this encourages them to do things that may feel at first very uncomfortable or outside of the box for them. This encourages them to go to events. It's an assignment. They have to go to one and prove that they went. This encourages connections that are made early on for people that are going to be instrumental in their success moving forward. The toolkit that they'll get at the end of the course in the next year or so, it proves that success is not just day one, it's day one and beyond. And so, we are really trying to kind of hone in on the fact that there is something for everyone here at Rowan-Cabarrus. And if they find it earlier, they're more likely to persist and to be successful and to continue coming back semester to semester.
Perfect.
So what kind of impact does the college hope to see from Forward Together in terms of like student persistence or completion and like career readiness, things like that?
Well, obviously we're all here for students, or we're all here for students to learn and to achieve their goals. And we know they can't do that if they don't re-enroll or if they don't maintain their enrollment. And that's what persistence is all about. It's basically just a fancy word for saying, come back next semester, come back next year, stay with us for as long as you need until you earn the degree, the diploma, the certificate that you need in order to take the next steps and achieve your goals. So obviously persistence is important. Completion, which is essentially just graduation. We want students to graduate. We don't want them to waste their time and money. We know that's important to them. They wouldn't be here if they didn't want to graduate. So that's what this course is really honing in on, and making sure that we are doing the best we can as a college to support them to achieving those goals.
I think another end goal that I think we will see, they'll be more familiar with resources on campus. We have a survey that's testing that. I think they'll be more satisfied. So I'm thinking about like student satisfaction surveys that we do here. I think we're going to see that students are more satisfied with their experience and their resource connections here. And ultimately, we just want happier students. We want them to complete the course earlier. We want them to feel like it wasn't wasted, that their time wasn't wasted here. And we really want them to complete more hours and more credits than they have in the past. So I think if any of those things, if we see any of those things, this will be a success.
So like our students, they enrolled, they hit start at some point for some reason. Mm-hmm. We may not know what that reason was for every single student, mm-hmm. but we know that at some point in their life, they said, I want to take mm-hmm. classes mm-hmm. to do this or to do that or to do this. It sounds like a whole lot of this is built around just helping them stay on that path, stay on that track, and not get distracted by this. Or when something does come up, they have the tools to kind of overcome that obstacle mm-hmm. or to learn how to just take a theoretical deep breath, mm-hmm. An educational deep breath, and to keep moving forward.
Absolutely.
So I love what this is all about, and I love that you guys have really put so much thought and energy into redesigning it and hearing student and faculty feedback on how to make sure that it's practical, it's up to date, it's current, and that it's mm-hmm. always evolving too at the same time.
I love how it all connects together. That's my favorite part of it, because if the student is engaged and this class helps them get connected, feel like they belong, it gets them engaged, and then they're going to have a better experience here because they're really going to feel like they belong and like the people here care about them. And it's wonderful when we get to show the students because we do care, and so I love how it all connects together and that students have this as a tool.
Well, thank you. And yeah, I mean, we acknowledge the paths to get here, but this course also encourages them to choose a path for success after the class too, because not all will transfer. Some will go directly into the workforce. Some will go into the workforce and then they'll transfer. Some may be unsure, undecided, and they tell us that in their surveys. But, no matter what, they kind of get to pick and choose when to start, what pathway to come in on, and ultimately what pathway to take, on the way to success and graduation. So we're really proud of it. We hope the institution and our students will be proud of it too, but we really appreciate the kind words and the support and obviously being able to kind of feature the story here.
Yeah. So I think one thing that we've heard over and over is early.
Please.
Early. So
Please.
If you are a student listening, you haven't taken this class yet, meet with your advisor, go ahead and get that on the schedule. If you're looking to come here, make sure that this is one of those first few classes that you take. Go ahead and get that plugged in.
A summer bridge course, come take it with us in the summer. You'll be ready for fall. Come on.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we just want to make sure that you have that our students have the tools, the support, and the confidence that they need. So
and they can find that through Forward Together.
And please make sure your contact information is up to date. We're sending out emails and text messages. We're really trying to get the word out there. We've got messages in Blackboard, and we also have our website, www.rccc.edu/forwardtogether for you to learn more.
Thank you guys so much for joining us today. We're hoping that, down the road we can have y'all back to kind of provide an update on how the QEP stuff is going.
Yeah, we'd love to come back. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thanks.
Tabs, thank you for joining us as official co-host.
Thank you for having me. I'm so glad that I could join the podcast and that this is my first one. I just love hearing about how you guys are improving things to better support students.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening to Trail Mix. For more stories, updates, and to learn more about how Rowan-Cabarrus Community College can help you navigate forward, visit us at www.rccc.edu. Next time on Trail Mix.
We're trying to have a really robust set of opportunities for students to transfer. We have someone here who is an employee for us who was one of our students. She is going to pay $140 to earn her baccalaureate degree.